and doing right now. What is going on? What's going on? Welcome to FlyNubianQueens.com. FlyNubianQueens.com. Come on in. My name is Edward Williams. I'm the founder and owner of Health by Any Means Necessary. And tonight we're gonna have a pretty good talk, have a pretty good discussion. Gonna lay out 5 points that I feel are going to be essential as we're moving forward as far as improving our health. So before we get started, please go ahead, start sharing this video. Whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, go ahead and start sharing this video right now. Be sure to go ahead and like it, give it a thumbs up. Also, make sure you subscribe to our channel called FlyNubianQueens.com, FlyNubianQueens.com. This is our network for melanated women such as yourself. Also, take some time out right now. Our new platform called FlyNubianKingTV.com, FlyNubianKingTV.com. And also, so you want to stay alert. You want to make sure you always know what's going on. Go ahead and text Queens to 31996. Text Queens to 31996. That way you always receive text alerts and messages whenever we're going live. Also, take a quick second, like I said, hit the like button. If you're in here, go ahead and hit the like button. Please go ahead and share this video out. Let's go ahead and get the word out. Let's go ahead and get the message out. It's our community, our responsibility. So the name of the video is our people are getting horrible health advice. And I want to explain why. The second title for this video would be Automated Oppression Disguised as Health Advice. Because many of the things that we're doing, as a country, but particularly as a community, could be really described as automated oppression, disguised as health advice. And I know we have all been inundated with constant campaigns of massive miseducation, just in general when it comes to health. Now, I'll let you all know right now, I am not your calorie guy. I'm not your keto guy. I'm not your macro guy, diet, or supplement guy. Although I am a nutritionist, I'm a physician assistant. I practice medicine down here in Florida. I'm a personal trainer. I have my own supplement business as well too. But we have, we have taken on advice that is moving us in the wrong direction as pertains to health. So although I'm not your guy when it comes to all these fads and all these diets and all these new advice, because they simply don't work. And it's really just marketing at the end of the day. Now, at the same time, I have invested over a decade of my life trying to figure out exactly what the hell is going on with the health conditions of our community. How do we have so many brothers and sisters transitioning, dying each year? How do we have so many brothers and sisters each year? We're losing them to preventable conditions, lifestyle conditions. This means that this is something that could have been avoided if the actual lifestyle was improved. Now, they may not have known this, and I'm finding out, well, I know now that most people do not understand that a lot of these conditions are actually preventable and or reversible. So I'm talking about things such as heart disease, where we're losing 76,708 brothers and sisters from our community each year from heart disease, which is preventable. We're actually number one in that category. And that's nothing to brag on whatsoever. Next, I'm talking about something like stroke. We have 18,189 brothers and sisters that are dying from a stroke each year. We rank number 3 as pertains to deaths with strokes. Diabetes, we're talking about 14,053 brothers and sisters that are dying each year from something like diabetes. African Americans make up 35 to 45% of the patients that are receiving dialysis inside of a dialysis clinic. And so essentially, if you're on dialysis clinic, that means you have end-stage renal disease, end-stage kidney disease. Now, 35 to 45% of the actual makeup of a dialysis clinic is going to be African-American, male and female, mostly male. At the same time, we only make up 13% of the actual U.S. population. So these are huge problems. When it comes to obesity, we have well over 37% of our sisters obese. We have well over 56% of the men. I'm sorry, it's actually flipped. So 37.5% of the men obese and 56.1% of the women obese. And, we have to do something about this. This is not something that we can just kind of, wait around. Hopefully things will get better. Hopefully somebody will come in and save it. And I will tell you why you don't want anybody coming in and fix the situation for you, because that's never worked out for us as a community ever, never. So how is all this going on? Why is all of this a problem? How do we survive all the atrocities that we've been through? Go through the Middle Passage, slavery, Jim Crow, the school, the prison pipeline, all of these things, the civil rights, and now we're being taken out at a very high rate as pertains to something that's preventable. How do we get to this point? And what I have to say is that essentially we have been you've been took, you've been hoodwinked, you've been bamboozled, led astray, run amok. And I'm gonna show you right now how this is what's going on. I'm gonna show you how those things are actually going on, because the things that we're focusing, or the things that we're actually trying to do, is probably the one thing that we actually don't want to do. And I know that all sounds confusing, but I'm going to break it down and explain it. So once again, please make sure y'all come on in. If you're in here, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, FlyNubianQueen.TV.com, FlyNubianQueen.com. Take a quick second out and also check out our new platform called FlyNubianKingTV.com. FlyNubianKingTV.com. Also, text the word Queen to 31996. Text the word Queen to 31996, and also go ahead and hit the like button, hit the share button. Push this video out. Push this video out. It's our community, our responsibility, and we have to do what we have to do to actually improve it for ourselves. Also, if you're interested in actually starting a business, which I always recommend, if you have that entrepreneur mindset, if you have that spirit, you need to start a business, go ahead and check out FlyNubianBusiness.com. And if you're looking to actually invest or save money, check out FlyNubianMoney.com. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So, like I said, it's been over a decade that I've been trying to figure this thing out. And essentially, I've come to the conclusion that not only are we not destined to be sick, but most of the information we've been giving can only be described as automated oppression disguised as health advice. Automated oppression disguised as health advice. And so essentially, we spend millions and millions of dollars each year on so-called health improvement that has given us little to no results. I mean, when you just look around our community, you see the things that are increasing. Like I just told you, I just went through and talked about the heart disease. I told you about diabetes. This is 2019, and our numbers are increasing. When we look at dialysis clinics, these numbers are increasing as well too. And the people in the actual dialysis clinics are getting younger and younger and younger. So how is it that we're spending more money on healthcare? We're spending more money on medications, but things are only getting worse. And what I have to say is that, essentially, we're focusing on information that is actually putting us in a bad place. It's actually putting us in a bad place, and I'll go through and actually break that down as well too. While we're focusing on those things that are glitter, those things that are shiny and look attractive, we are ignoring the actual tangible, practical, sustainable, and affordable lifestyle advice. And this advice we are being told to ignore. And in some cases, the advice is actually being demonized. And so, like I said, trust me, family, on everything. There's nothing behind this curtain that we have been worshiping. There's nothing behind this curtain at all. It's a facade. It's not real. It's really all in our head. As far as what's behind the curtain, this thing that we've been worshiping, we hold so high and mighty, it's only moving us backwards. And so we've been conditioned to be obsessed with shiny objects, fancy numbers, fancy diets, calorie counting, all these things. But that is all marketing 101. That is all marketing 101. But it doesn't do you anything as pertains to improving your health. And so what I'm going to talk about tonight is going to be pretty much 5 principles of health that I feel that our community must take on if we are to get off of this conveyor belt of pills, procedures, device, side effects, follow-ups, and so on and so forth. I mean, how many people can don't show your hands. You don't have to raise your hand. You don't have to say anything. But I know a lot of people feel what I'm saying. I know a lot of people are tired of the follow-ups and the cold handshakes and the 5-minute visits and the lack of explanation of what the condition is, the lack of explanation of what the medication is going to do, the lack of information as far as anything alternative, the lack of compassion. I know people are tired and fed up with that, feeling lonely, feeling like you have to actually do this on yourself, on your own, actually dealing with the side effects, and then knowing that you have to still take the medication, but because you don't take the medication, you are told that something horrible is going to happen to you. And so you're now in this limbo where you feel fine without the medication, but if you don't take the medication, you're afraid of what may happen. And so you take the medication and you feel worse than you felt before taking the medication. And it's messing with you on a psychological level. And so this is why I tell you, we have to learn health defense. You have to learn health defense. You have to learn your body. You only spend 24 hours a day, 24 hours out of the day. You spend 7 days a week and 365 days. You stay in your body the whole entire time. We have to learn our body. We have to understand it on a basic level. And so what we're going to do is talk about these 5 principles. These 5 principles. Now, these won't be conclusive. Honestly, I put this together maybe like Sunday or Monday. But this is something that if we focus on, we will be in a 10 times better position than what we are right now. And this will only get better for our children and future generations to come. And also, the big thing about these, the advice that I'm about to give you, 1, it's all natural. 2, it's extremely practical. It's extremely sustainable. And it's extremely affordable. Only one of these things actually going to cause you money. Is only one is actually going to cost money. So we're about to get right into it. Like I said, we're going to go over the 5. What's going on, YouTube? Yo, YouTube, everybody, come on, take some time out right now. Hit the like button. Hit the like button right now. Y'all go ahead and share this video. Let your family and friends know that we are on here. Good. Somebody says, Miss Vara. Hey, what's going on, Miss Vara? So she says she's been feeling better since she started fasting. Great, great. Co-pays, prior authorization for meds. Yeah, I mean, all of these things that you have to go through, all these hoops and obstacles and all these things, all this, it's a lot of politics. I know it's a lot of politics. I hate filling out this prior authorization paperwork. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about it. Like I said, please subscribe to our new channel, flynubiankingtv.com, flynubiankingtv.com, and then subscribe to this channel, flynubianqueen.com, which is a network for melanated women such as yourself. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel, like the video. Also text Queens to 31996. All right. So let's get into it. Let's get into it. All right. So right now we're about to talk about 5 things that you can do that will radically improve your health. And granted, I'm gonna tell you right now, right off the bat, it's not sexy because it's so natural and it's so basic and it's free. So I want you to understand that before you try to make these things more difficult than what it actually is, I want you to understand that you have been conditioned, and not all of us, but a lot of us have been conditioned to want it to be more difficult than what it actually is. And that's not natural. So we're going to talk about the 5 things. So the first one is movement. Movement. Yeah, movement. We have to understand that we are actually designed to move. And when you look at nature, there's a saying that stagnation is the harbinger of death. Because when you look at nature, anything that starts to slow down, anything that stops moving, essentially is going to represent death. It's going to represent staleness. So when you see water that's just sitting, it's going to represent staleness. There's so much you can learn from nature. In nature, if you don't use it, what happens? You lose it. Same thing with muscles. If you don't use your muscles, you start to atrophy. You start to actually lose those muscles. Sitting is actually stressful for the body. And I talked about that in one of my other videos. I talked about how there's 3 categories of stress, physical, chemical, and psychological. Well, sitting actually registers as physical stress. Here's something that might blow your mind. If you are sitting for more than 5 hours a day, the risk of heart failure more than doubles for men or women who actually sit for at least 5 hours a day. Hear me out. If you're sitting for more than 5 hours a day, the risk of heart failure actually doubles for you. Now, If you don't combat that with some movement, you're putting yourself in a very bad position. How much does it cost to move? Because I'm not talking about going out and getting gym membership. I'm not talking about going and get an actual weight set. I'm talking about just moving. I'm talking about every 45 minutes while you're at work, get up and walk up the stairs, walk down the hallway, walk down the stairs, and come back to your desk. Or every 45 minutes, get up, walk outside. Or every 45 minutes, get up and do some push-ups on your desk, do some push-ups on the floor, do some push-ups on the chair, somewhere. Do some leg raises, do a couple of jumping jacks, but move. We have to move. We cannot remain stagnant. There's too many benefits. There's too many pros to moving, and there's too many cons to not moving. Moving improves your circulation. It improves your muscle, of course. It improves your mood. And when I'm talking about mood, I'm talking about anxiety and depression, which is a conversation we have to have, right? We have to have that conversation. The reason why moving, just being active throughout the day, actually increases your or improves your anxiety and depression is because it increases something called BNF. That stands for brain-derived neurotrophic factor. And so when this starts increasing, it starts improving the actual neuroreceptors in your brain, the neurons, and it's actually able to help you secrete what they call the feel-good hormones. So once again, moving doesn't have to be anything strenuous or anything crazy. It doesn't have to be any of those things. I'm talking about, I have women patients, I have older women patients. I don't call them old women because they can do a couple push-ups. But I have women patients who are about 76 right now, and she knows what to do. She needs to grab her cans of tomato soup, get 2 cans of tomato soup. She pop in her little headphones, and down that street and while her block she goes, and she's swinging them little cans as fast as she can. She knows to do interval walking. Depending on how she's feeling, she's gonna be doing interval walking. This is when she's walking at a normal pace for 10 seconds, and then she's gonna pick it up for 30 seconds. Now, what's considered to be intense for her may be different for you, but it doesn't matter. You get in where you fit in, you start where you at. So this is something that you don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Your biggest thing is to get moving. And once again, like I said, try not to overcomplicate this. I'm serious. Something just as simple as moving. Something just as simple as getting in a pool and swimming. Now, you can set parameters for yourself. You can make yourself do 2 blocks. You can make yourself do 2 laps. You can make yourself go to the gym and get on the bike for so many hours. But at the end of the day, I want you to make sure tomorrow, and this whole thing about what, New Year or next month or Monday. No. I'm talking about like right now it's 11:24. When you wake up tomorrow, make sure you have on your agenda to do movement. Make sure you have your actual alarm clock set while you're at work. Every 45 minutes, you're going to get up and you're going to do something. Make that promise to yourself because it's an investment. These are an investment. This is one of the things this channel is known for is investment. And so we talk about financial investment. We talk about investing in our communities. We talk about investing in our homes and our cars and all these things like that. Well, I'm going to tell you, one of the best investments and one of the most important investments you can make is actually in your body, in yourself, in you. Because if you don't exist, then those investments, they still matter because you have family that you're going to leave behind. But your family will probably rather you be around with the actual investment itself. So I'm talking, like I said, something just as simple as walking. Now, if you have access to a gym, you can lift weights, of course, do it. And then men, let me talk to y'all real quick. Men, for us, women too, but I'm specifically talking to men. This is a security risk. All right, this is a high level security risk. In the military, we would call it ThreatCon Delta. We would call it ThreatCon Delta. This means the enemies are like right there, right then and there. It's but to pop off, and you need to be ready for it. So I would consider this to be a high security risk for us because, men, if you are not able to be physically fit, that's a problem. Men, if you are having issues, and this is all out of love. This is all out of love, like I said. So men, if you are having issues bending down and tying your shoes, this is a problem. If you are getting lightheaded, this is a problem. If you swing and you get lightheaded, that's a problem. If you have a weak grip, that's a problem. All these things are a problem because, You know, I come from a place where our basic jobs is to provide and protect, provide and protect, provide and protect. Part of that protecting means that you got to be able to, you know, do some things with your hands if that time comes. You have to be able to actually save somebody. You have to actually be able to pull people out of the cars if you have to. You have to actually be able to open the windows. You have to be able to actually climb through it, get over the fence. Like, you definitely have to be the one that's mobile, and you definitely have to be the one that can pick stuff up. So men, you need to make it your goal at the basic level to be able to lift and throw around your weight and a half. Your weight and a half. All right. So whatever your weight is, be able to pick that up plus half of that. All right. This is important. I'm talking about whether you're talking about bench pressing, whether you're talking about squatting, we got to have that on lock. We got to work on our grip. You'd be surprised what you can do with a grip, no matter what size you are. You'd be surprised what you can do with a grip, no matter what size you are. What else? You know, so once again, y'all can start with just some push-ups. These are things that don't cost money. Some push-ups, mountain climbers, you know, just a light jog, but get started. Get started. Like, don't wait on anything. Just get started. All right. So also what I would say is that when it comes to what's going to be the best movement for us, people of African descent, we do extremely well when it comes to anything dealing with explosion, high intensity interval training, anything with explosion. And that makes sense when you look at the natural build of our bodies. All right. So that's principle number one. We got to get moving every day. Every day. Like I said, it doesn't have to be anything extreme, but we got to get moving. All right. All right. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. What's going to be the next one? Yeah, let's make this thing interactive. What do y'all think is going to be the next one? All right. What's going to be the next one? So YouTube, go ahead. Everybody in here right now, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. What's going on? What's going on? So like I said, welcome to flynubianqueen.com, flynubianqueen.com, which is a network for melanated women such as yourself. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Also, check out flynubiankingtv.com. I'll be over there pretty soon talking about more issues related to men. Also, text the word Queens to 31996. Text the word Queens to 31996. Yo, y'all are on it. Ms. Vara, Marla, Cheryl, y'all on it. Y'all are on it. Exactly. So we just talked about principle number one, which is movement. Now let's go down to principle number two, water. Water. Water is so important. So important. Check this out. Planet Earth is covered by 70% water. The human body is made up of 70% water. Your cells are composed of 70% water. It stands to reason that anything that is that common, that keeps popping up over and over and over, and makes up such a large ratio, it stands to reason that it's important. And it is extremely important. It is extremely important. Check this out, and it's gonna blow your mind. And I actually think this number is a little low. We as a nation, we simply don't drink enough water. And even when you think you're drinking enough water, if you're drinking anything that's caffeinated or any sodas or anything like that, you're losing the water when you're drinking the water, because the actual carbonation and everything that goes along with the actual soda is actually making you utilize that water you just drank. But when we talk about us as an actual nation, 75% of the country is dehydrated on some level. This can be mild, this can be moderate, this can be severe. Nonetheless, if you're dehydrated, that is a problem. I don't care where you at on that scale. I mean, of course, the higher you are, the worse it is. But even being mildly dehydrated means that you are not functioning at your optimal rate. You're not functioning at your optimal level. So understand that water plays a huge role in the production of energy. Feeling tired, anybody? Water plays a huge role in the contraction of your muscles. Any cramps? Water plays a huge role in the removal of waste. Are you having headaches? Water plays a huge role in the actual transportation of your actual nutrients. So water is not anything that we should just kind of, I'll get to when I get to it. Nah, water is extremely important. You want to get to water right now. And so studies actually show that mild dehydration, just mild, I'm not talking about moderate, I'm not talking about severe, I'm talking about mild dehydration can impair many aspects of the brain function. We're talking about impairing the actual mood, concentration, increasing the frequency of headaches, decreasing the memory, increasing the feelings of anxiety, fatigue, constipation, and kidney stones. Let me drink some water because it's hard to talk about this stuff without drinking water. So let me go back through that again. We're talking about water plays a huge role in the brain function. When you're mildly dehydrated, you're going to have a problem with your mood swings. Well, you're going to experience mood swings. You're going to have a problem with concentrating. You're going to have frequent headaches. You're going to have a decrease in memory, increased feelings of anxiety, fatigue, constipation, and kidney stones. Now, here's the next thing that's going to blow your mind because it blew my mind. Understand that it is almost, and there's going to always be outliers, but let me just put this down. Understand that it is almost impossible for someone to have a stroke or a heart attack and be hydrated at the same time. And let me explain how this works. So when someone has a stroke or a heart attack, usually we're talking about a clot that has broken off, a blood clot that has broken off, and it has gone down the arteries to a smaller area to where it's now blocking off the actual blood flow, and that's causing the ischemia. And when that blood is not getting into the area, it goes into what they call infarction, which is actual cell death. So let's rewind a little bit. In order for that clot to form, there needs to be a decrease in viscosity. Viscosity is referring to the actual thickness of your blood. So when you have lower plasma and increase in the blood cells, only because when you have more red blood cells than you have plasma, that's going to increase viscosity, and that means you have actual thicker blood. So this is a little bit dramatic, but now imagine trying to blow syrup through a straw or trying to suck syrup through a straw. Can you imagine how difficult that would be? Well, when you have lower viscosity, this means that you now have more plasma and that blood is able to actually float around easier. When you have more platelets, or when you have thicker viscosity, your body is ready to clot. In fact, your body, when you actually get stressed out, I don't care what kind of stress. If you just get stressed out, you're pissed off, maybe somebody cut you off at work, right then and there, your body switches and increases the actual platelets in your blood. It increases the platelets in your blood on purpose because your body just knows that you're stressed. It doesn't know why you're stressed, whether you got cut off by a car or you're being chased by a giraffe. Nonetheless, your body's ready, fight or flight. Your body's going to purposely increase the viscosity of your blood because if you fall and you cut yourself, your body needs to be able to clot. Increasing the viscosity is going to allow your body to clot. So I'm saying all that to say this. In order to form a clot, an embolism, a blood clot, something that's going to actually block the flow of blood, your blood needs to be thick, meaning that you need higher viscosity, meaning that you will most likely have to be dehydrated. And so there's a study done by this doctor named, I think his name is Jackie Chang. I think the doctor name is Jackie Chang. I promise you, I believe that's his name. So essentially, this guy, did a study about, people who had strokes, heart attacks, and any any kind of arterial issues. And there was always this high correlation with being dehydrated. And if you think about it, it makes sense, right? It makes sense. And so in order for a clot to form, the blood has to be sticky. So I'm saying all that to say this, something as cheap, water is pretty much free. Something like that can decrease your chances of having a stroke or a risk. This is medicine, y'all. This is medicine. I know we thinking that medicine is something that's made in a pharmaceutical manufacturing company and everything like that, but nature actually has all the medicine that we really need. And that's the conclusion that I came to after all this schooling and loans and all these things. Came to the conclusion that, the best things in life are free. So that's it. That's number 2. All right. What's number 3, y'all? Let me hear y'all guess for number 3. Let me hear you guess for number 3. Also, once again, like I said, please try not to overthink these principles. Try not to overthink these principles. These are just something that I recommend we get into Once we start getting into it, y'all can start, you know, really kind of breaking it up and figuring out which one is going to be best and which one should you do. But what I'm saying is dramatically cut out the juices, the sodas, anything else, the milks. Please, 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 please. There's nothing beneficial about cow milk. I don't care what they're telling you. There's nothing beneficial about cow milk. Please don't get me started on that, because I'll be here all day talking about cow milk. But yeah, so try your best to make sure that you are drinking at least 90% water. I know, 90% water. I promise you, it'll change your world. It'll change your world, because most people have no idea what it feels like to actually not be dehydrated. And many of us are walking around dehydrated. Yeah, so let's go ahead and move to number 3. Before we do that, yo, everybody in the chat, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and hit the like button. Everybody in the chat right now, hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. Make sure you share this video, share it on other platforms, get the word around. I'm sure you have family members that can benefit from just these 5 simple principles. And once again, they're all cheap. Most of them, all 4 of them are actually free. And then there's one that's going to cost a little bit of money. But when I give you the last principle, you'll realize that it really doesn't cost that much money in the first place. All right, so flynewbeanqueen.com. What's going on, y'all? I appreciate y'all being here with me so late at night. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. Check out flynewbeankingstv.com, flynewbeankingtv.com, and text the word Queens to 31996. All right, what's the next one? What's the next one? Let me see. Did y'all get it? I see somebody jumping ahead. I see somebody jumping ahead. I smell what you're stepping in, McCain. I smell what you're stepping in. All right, let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. So the next one, Whole Foods. This is the only one that costs money. This is the only one that costs money. But I'm gonna drastically cut your price down, your grocery price down, by my last recommendation. All right, so bear with me. So look, check this out. So Whole Foods. What we need to understand, I keep telling y'all, we have at least 37 trillion cells. At least. I mean, some people will say 75 trillion cells. When we get to a trillion, I don't even argue about how many. We have a lot of cells. All right. So let's go with 37 trillion. Our bodies are constantly remodeling itself day by day. Studies say that we are pretty much 1% of our cells are being renewed each and every single day. And we have billions of cells each day that are being destroyed and being created. It's an ongoing cycle. The death, birth cycle is ongoing in our 37 trillion cells. Ongoing every single day. We're constantly dying. We're constantly being reborn every single day, every single minute, every single hour, every single second. All right. And so when these cells are being reborn, are being created, they're going to manifest themselves as a stronger, more vibrant cell, or as a weaker and older cell. Now, how do you assure that your body is creating the best cells that it can create? How do you ensure that your body is going to exhibit the highest form of your cells? Because this is actually a real thing. How do you ensure that? How do you make sure? The way you're going to do that is by wisely choosing the material, the food, the information that you're giving your body, because your body's going to now utilize that to actually create a new cell, to create the actual machinery in the cell, the ribosomes, the cytoplasms, the RNA, the DNA. It's going to actually use the actual materials that you're bringing into your foods, bringing into your body on a daily basis. And so real whole foods, especially leafy greens. Now, when we're talking about real whole foods, we're talking about foods that are from nature. We're talking about foods that are in their natural state. They are free of additives. They are free of preservatives. They're unprocessed, meaning that they haven't been altered. And if they have been altered, it's been very little. So not only will these foods actually satisfy your hunger, but they're also going to be naturally rich in real nutrients. So spoiler alert, I know that we believe that we can, solve our problems with a pill, a capsule, even some herbs. And, I sell herbs. So I'm just keeping it real right now. But if you're thinking that you can go and get multivitamins and everything will be solved, it doesn't work like that, because synthetic vitamins does not grant you results as the actual real live nutrients you're going to find in the food. You got to understand that when you pull out a leaf, like one little leaf, that leaf has a whole entire community of nutrients. And when you bite it, you're biting a whole entire nutrients. We're talking about, vitamins, minerals. We're talking about live enzymes. Those live enzymes are actually going to help break down the food you actually took in. It's going to make sure that most of the nutrients that you're taking in is actually absorbed. We're talking about fiber. And a lot of properties that we're going to find in these whole foods are anti-inflammatory, anti-aging, anti-cancer. And so if you want to actually make sure that you are renewing your cells with the highest quality foods, you have to eat whole foods. Particularly, I'm talking about plant foods, leafy greens. Now, here's where I get into issues or beef, but it's one-sided because I have no intentions or interest in having this debate. But here's where I get a little slack from my vegan friends, my non-vegan friends, my keto friends, my calorie counting friends, my macro friends. Who else? The pescatarians, the vegetarians, whatever set. There's a lot of sets, right? And I love them all. What I need for all of us to understand is that Malcolm X and Marcus Garvey, two of our greatest leaders, my heroes, they both said that they were creating these organizations. And what we're going to do is this organization, we're going to make sure this organization is circled and centered around the empowerment and the freedom of Black people. In order for us to do that, we have to leave our religions at the door. We have to leave our religions at the door because Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X understood that if we were to be in there and we centered this thing around religion, it's going to be a problem because my brother, who we could work well together, just because he's a Muslim and I'm a Christian, we might have an issue. But if we focus on the fact that we need to get, we're both enslaved, we're both need to get out, we both need to be free. Now we can actually talk, now we can actually work, now we can actually move towards a common goal. I feel the exact same way when it comes to all of these food beliefs and food sets. I have no interest in getting into that conversation. What I say is that we go all out on the things that we agree, and the things that we all agree on, whatever camp they're in, vegan, non-vegan, paleo, all these camps. The one thing that everybody's going to agree on is that we need way more plant food. We need way more plants. I'm talking specifically leafy greens. The other thing we will agree on is that, for the most part, what we agree on is that we eat too damn much meat. We eat way too much meat, way too much. And there's just no room when it comes to the processed meat. We're talking about like the meats that's in the actual package and everything like that. There's no room for that. But when it comes to meats, we can all agree that our country as a whole, but even with our community, we're obsessed with the meat, and that's making us sick. That's causing a huge problem. And the next thing that we can agree on is that whole foods is 1,000 times better than processed foods. So with that being said, here at HBAM, our recommendation is to eat whole foods. Do your best to make sure you're eating 70-80% plant-based. What other sources you have, matter of fact, all the sources you are getting in, they need to be clean. This means the pesticides, the antibiotics, all those things need to get pushed up out of the paint because it's going to still affect your health in a negative way. All right. So our job here at HealthBAM, HBAM, is not to get into these tribal wars because that's what this is. We end up looking like that last scene at the end of the Black Panther, where you had the best of the best fighting the best of the best while saving the colonizers, and the colonizers getting up out of there. And our best of the best is actually fighting each other. We don't need to do that. So our job is to be the usher of this mass exodus away from processed foods into whole foods. All right. So I hope my brothers and sisters who are of different ideologies and beliefs when it comes to eating, I hope you all understand. I hope you all can agree with that. I hope you all can move forward and push that common goal we have. All right. So that is number 3. What's going on? What is going on? Yo, make sure y'all in here right now. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And check out FlyNubianKingTV.com, FlyNubianKingTV.com, which is our growing network for melanated men. Also check out FlyNubianQueenTV.com as well to subscribe to the channel. Text the word Queens to 31996. Queens to 31996. All right. So what is the next principle? What's the next principle? Who got it? Who got it? Who got it? Who got it? Oh, I'm loving these. Oh, I love these last two. I love these last two. Who has the next one? Somebody actually said the next one earlier. I think it was Renee. There we go, Miss Vara. She got it. She got it. All right. So let's do a quick recap. So principle number one. Where we at? Principle number one: movement. We got to move. We have to move. Men specifically, this is a security risk for us. You got to be able to lift and move at least 1.5 times your body weight. We all have to get up moving. Make sure you remember that sitting 5 hours a day doubles your chance of a heart failure. And it makes sense, once again, if you have your blood just pooling down to your actual legs for 5 hours straight for years on end, with the actual valves in your vein and your heart is trying to pump and get that blood back in, it makes sense. So once again, don't have to do anything strenuous or crazy. You can start out with just walking, walking. Next is going to be water. Understand, remember, planet Earth, 70% water, human beings, 70% water, your cells, 70% water. And your cells make up 37 trillion cells. 37 trillion cells make you up. And so water is extremely important. We're talking about actually, if you're dehydrated, the chances of you having a stroke or heart attack increases. Whereas if you are well hydrated, it makes it very hard. They're having a very hard time trying to actually find the number of people who have strokes and heart attack who are actually hydrated. It's easy to find the ones who are not hydrated, dehydrated. Number three is going to be whole foods. Remember, your body's constantly remodeling itself, it's constantly creating itself. What cells or what materials are you using to actually rebuild your body? All right. And then number four, sunlight. Now, why sunlight? Somebody tell me in the chat. Why sunlight? Why sunlight? Why sunlight? Come on, why sunlight? Why sun? Why? Come on, let's go. Why sunlight? All right. I'll tell you. So D3, vitamin D. All right. So check this out. And y'all are all right, kind of, but not really, but kind of. So what we need to understand is that vitamin D is actually a hormone. Vitamin D is a hormone. So this is how it works. When the sunlight hits your skin and you get the UVB rays, ultraviolet B rays, that UVB ray is going to go to your liver. Your liver is going to start to activate the vitamin D, but the final activation is going to be done inside of your actual kidney. The kidney is going to activate the vitamin D, and it's going to be turned into an actual hormone. Therefore, there is no vitamin D. There's hormone D. So we understand the importance of making sure our other hormones are in check, right? When we start talking about thyroid hormone, you actually get a name for that: hyperthyroidism or hypothyroidism. Doctors want to treat that, right? When we start talking about diabetes, when insulin gets too high or too low, we start talking about hyperglycemia, hypoglycemia, hyperinsulinemia, hypoinsulinemia, type 2 diabetes, type 1 diabetes. Same thing with estrogen, testosterone. We understand that we understand hormones are very important. Now, what I need for everybody to understand is that vitamin D is actually hormone D. It is a vitamin. And if you are a melanated, you have black, brown, tan skin, you have the ability to actually tan. If Caucasians being deficient in vitamin D is a cold, you being deficient in vitamin D is a severe pneumonia mixed with meningitis, mixed with your house being on fire while you're in the bed, mixed with your leg being cut off, mixed with everything else. It's very bad. Just very bad. Do my Donald Trump. Very bad. It's very bad. So when we become vitamin D, it's a completely different situation. Completely different. Vitamin D, and this stuff blew my mind, but I'm sorry, I keep saying vitamin D, but it's gonna be hard. It's gonna take me a while to start with saying hormone D. But being deficient in hormone D makes you vulnerable to everything. And let me show you what I'm talking about. So we all know when we talk about the actual benefits. So real quick, what are the benefits of hormone D? What do you know? What do we all know to be the benefits of hormone D? Let me know. Hormone D is important because of what? There we go. All right, so here we go. Vitamin D for bones. Okay, yep, bones. Okay, good. Bones. Good, good, good. Good, good. What else? All right, cool. Immunization. Good, good, good. Bones and immunity. All right, so check this out. When they told us about the bones and vitamin D and the health, that was only the tip of the iceberg. I don't even think we can consider it to be the tip of the iceberg. So matter of fact, what y'all should probably also look at is the vitamin D paradox. There's a study called the vitamin D paradox. 90% of African Americans are vitamin D deficient. Let me say this a different way. 70% of the country is deficient in hormone D. 90 to 95% of the Black community is deficient in hormone D. Yeah, it helps out with bones, but apparently that doesn't really matter when it comes to African Americans. And that was the study, that was determination of the study called the vitamin D paradox, because they were trying to understand why so many African Americans have such low levels of hormone D, while when you see lower levels of hormone D in Caucasians, the increase in risk, the increase in osteoporosis and fractures actually increase. Also, dental issues also increase as well. However, for some reason, when we look at African Americans, their bones tend to become stronger. Their bones tend to not really be deterred by the fact that they're low in vitamin D. And so when you go looking further into actual I'm sorry, I keep saying vitamin D. It's going to take a while. God ain't done me yet. When you go looking into why hormone D is so important, check it out. When you have a healthy level of hormone D, and let's talk about the healthy levels. Let's talk about the healthy levels. Does anybody know the healthy level for hormone D? I'm gonna keep saying vitamin D. Okay, I'm just gonna keep saying. So when I get on the labs, when they have the high and low range for vitamin D, the low range it varies from year to year, from 20 to 25 as far as low range, right? Because the way they make up their ranges is by they take accumulation of everybody who had their blood tested the year before for vitamin D, and then they get this bell curve, and then they cut off the ends of the bell curve, and they use that for the high and the low. So essentially, you're getting your vitamin D compared to people who had their vitamin D tested the year prior, which is not a good thing. Now, good. So, boom, Ms. Brown. Ms. Brown said the levels are 20 to 50. That's the range. So 20 would be on the low, 50 would be what they consider to be high. Man, is that off. But you're right. That's exactly what the lab said. Nanograms per milliliter. So here it is. The optimal level for vitamin D in people of African descent, people with brown, the black, tan skin, you can actually tan. When is 80. 80. 80. And so many people are being told that when they get to 20, all right, high five, you're normal, you're good. No. Now, how do they know 80, right? How do they know for this population it's 80? Because when the Scottish investigators went over to Africa and they got the tribal men there to give them blood samples, they tested their blood samples, and on average, they were 60 to 80 on average. Of course, you had some that were 100, 120, but on average, you're looking at 60 to 80. And there you don't see the issues, of course, that you see over here with us. Now, let's start talking about the benefits of having a optimal vitamin D level. So vitamin D will protect you from cold and flu. I don't know if you're talking about swine flu, rat flu, whatever kind of flu y'all can come up with next year, vitamin D actually protects you from that. Vitamin D will actually enhance your mood. Vitamin D plays a huge role in seeing to it that, well, plays a huge role as it pertains to depression. And I found this back out when we were doing rotations. I was doing rotations in Memphis. We were at the psych unit, and the patients have their medications that we have to give to the patients, and it's on this tray. And most of the patients are taking a lot of the same medications, antidepressants, anxiety medications, everything like that. And there were always these two big yellow gel caps of vitamin D. And one day, we have like this huge thing of vitamin D back there. And so one day we didn't have any more. And so only like a quarter of the patients had it. The other patients wasn't gonna have it. And when we told the actual medical director, he's like, "Oh, we gotta have the vitamin D. Like, we don't give them anything until we get the vitamin D." And no, he actually didn't sound like that at all. He's a very animated guy. So he's like, "Don't give them anything until we actually get the vitamin D. I don't care if we have to actually go to the store and get vitamin D, but they need the vitamin D." And I'm like, "Yo, why is vitamin D so important?" This guy looked me in my face. He's a psychiatric doctor, specialist. He looked me in my face and said, "The reason why most of these patients are up here and they are lost their mind is because they're vitamin D deficient." It was like, what? So of course that made me go and do some study and research, and lo and behold, there's this, once again, high correlation with low vitamin D levels and depression. And when you look even further in the books, when they talk about SAD, which SAD stands for seasonal, what does it stand for? Anyway, seasonal depression, seasonal affect depression, I believe it is. Essentially what this is low vitamin D levels. And so pretty much when you, depending on the areas that you live in, if you had a normal vitamin D level for the whole year and then fall and winter comes around and you just dip, then you start to have a dip in your mood as well too. And this is largely because we are equatorial beings, meaning that the reason why our skins look the way it looks is because we are supposed to be around the equator, somewhere around the equator. So even when the sun goes down or around certain seasons, we still have exposure to the sun. Now, so we talked about how sunlight is important for the bones and the teeth. We already knew that. It protects you from cold and flu. It also plays a huge role when it comes to mental health as well too. But vitamin D helps accelerate your healing process. Vitamin D protects you, and you can all look this up. Vitamin D protects you from type 1 and type 2 diabetes. Vitamin D protects you from type 1 and type 2 diabetes. Vitamin D protects you from heart disease. Why? Because when you have optimal levels of hormone D, it makes it very hard for the arteries to become stiff. This is why if I have a female patient whose systolic number is quote unquote normal, like 136, and that bottom number is high, diastolic is like 96 or even 100, I want to know, when's the last time you had your blood work done? What's your vitamin D? And it never fails. Most of them have had have a low level of vitamin D. And so that's just something for you ladies. For whatever reason, there's a high correlation with African American women who have a higher diastolic while having a normal systolic number, and also being vitamin D deficient. And like I said, it makes sense because the actual stiffness of the arteries. But I'm not sure why just the women, not the men. So vitamin D, hormone D, also protects you from obesity. Why? Because it inhibits angiogenesis. Angiogenesis is actual creation of new blood vessels. And so when you gain weight, for every pound of weight you gain, you have to gain you grow a mile in capillaries. You grow a mile of blood vessels. Vitamin D, hormone D, protects you from cancer. And I've been looking at this one all day. It protects you from cancer. Once again, it's extremely hard for them to find someone who has cancer as well as having normal levels of vitamin D. When you have low levels of vitamin D, it makes you vulnerable to everything. Not only cancer, but specifically in Black men, vitamin D has been shown without a shadow of a doubt to have a protective, to be a protective mechanism against prostate cancer. And they did the studies and the autopsies about the actual prostate and the vitamin D saturation. And it was shown that vitamin D actually protects the prostate from cancer, but you have to have an actual optimal level. And then lastly, vitamin D protects your kidney. When you're low on vitamin D, and this makes sense because your kidneys actually activate vitamin D. Vitamin D actually makes it extremely hard for the kidneys to become inflamed, irritated, or injured. But when you're low on vitamin D, once again, you're open. It's open season on your whole entire body when you're low on vitamin D. So vitamin D is a hormone. It is extremely important. Once again, if it's a cold for Caucasian Americans, then it is a flu, meningitis, in the middle of a fire, all these things. Like, it's a huge problem when you become vitamin D deficient. Everybody get that? Everybody get that? So yeah, so I just saw sunblock. So please, 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 please. And I was going to tell y'all a story about the polar bear and the brown bear. But I'm gonna have to save that for a different time because I see the time is running out. But no, please don't put any sunblock or sunscreen on you. If you have to use anything, if you have a lighter complexion, use something like coconut oil or shea butter. And once again, we love shea butter, man. We love shea butter. Use coconut oil, shea butter, or cocoa butter. But please don't use sunblock. Please don't use that stuff. Please don't use that. All right. So let's keep going, man. Oh man. Last one. Last one. All right. So what's the last one? If y'all know me, you already know what the last one is. What's the last one? What's the last one? What's the last one? What is the last one? Come on. You're in Southern California and you need more sun? So there's a lot of sun in Southern California. How are you not getting sun, Miss Var? Boom, Nikki. Nikki, who are you, Nikki? Nikki, who are you, Nikki? Irish. Of course, Irish is going to get it. Yeah, so somebody just said sleep. So sleep is very important. I would actually put sleep in a close, 6, 7. But unfortunately, I think our people actually sleep enough. I think we actually sleep enough. But sleep is very important. Number 5 is my gospel. It's my everything. It's the one thing that I know for a fact will radically improve the health conditions of our community overnight, and that is fasting. Fasting. Fasting, fasting, fasting. We got to understand, in our community and in the nation as a whole, we don't have a problem with underconsumption of food. That's not our problem. Our problem is not that we don't get enough protein. It's not that we don't get enough carbs. That's not our problem. Our problem is that we are overfed. We are overfed. Not only are we overfed, but the foods that we're taking in, y'all know that I call it the nutritional colonizers. We're taking in food that comes into our body, and it has the same intentions that someone who is colonizing a territory has. When somebody colonizes a territory, what are they doing? They're coming in with a smile on their face. They're coming in shaking your hand. They're coming in, hey, yo, peace, 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 peace. But what do they do? What do they do? That their intentions is to rob you of your natural resources. Their intentions is to marginalize you and push you to the actual parameters of the actual territory. And when we look at processed food, the standard American diet, that is the nutritional version of colonization. Why? Because when you eat that food, once again, that food has no intentions. I don't care what the box says. I don't care what the bag says. I don't care if it says it's made with real vitamin C now. Now it has fiber. If your food can brag and your food can actually talk like that, then you're eating the wrong type of food. Your food should not be able to actually brag. So if you're eating food that is going to come in and colonize you, if you're eating food that is going to drain you of your natural resources, what do I mean by that? When I say drain you of your natural resource, you got to understand that processed foods, particularly refined carbohydrates, they need magnesium to actually break down that food. The foods need to utilize the magnesium from your stores to actually break down the food. It needs to utilize the actual calcium from your stores to break down your food. So while you think you're getting in nutrients, you're not getting any nutrients. You're getting food stuff. And that food stuff is actually pulling on your actual mineral stores. Once again, if it's pulling on your magnesium stores, it's only but so long before you become insulin resistant. If it's pulling on your potassium stores, it's only so long before you can have stiffening of the arteries. So these foods are not benign. They don't have a benign effect on us. So our problem is not that we are not eating enough, is that we're eating way too much. And we're not giving our body time to actually go into the actual internal cleaning. So I know a lot of people want to know, what herb or vitamin or mineral is good for this or what is good for that. I'm gonna tell you straight up, there's not a herb or vitamin out there that will do for your body what fasting will allow your body to do for itself. See, you are the magic. You are the dopeness. Y'all are extremely intelligent. Our bodies. If you sit down and you stand up, don't you know your body just did something two different ways? When you sat down, your body decreased the blood pressure, decreased the actual oxygen, and went to vasoconstriction in the actual stomach. And when you stood up, it did the exact opposite. It increases the blood pressure, it increases the heart rate, it went to vasoconstriction in the gut and vasodilation in the actual legs. And so it doesn't matter what you do. If you cut yourself, your body's going to form a clot, your body's going to actually start to heal itself. If you eat a piece of spinach, within an hour, a part of that spinach is going to now become a piece of your eyeball or a piece of your nail. Your body's intelligent. Your body's dope. You are the magic that you're looking for. The only problem is that we never give the body time to actually heal, nor do we give the body time to actually repair itself. And so when we go into this fasting and we allow the body to do what it's naturally designed to do, which is regulate, repair, and heal, your body starts to experience this something called autophagy or autophagy. Your body's going to experience something called apoptosis, hormesis, de novo lipogenesis, gluconeogenesis. Your body starts to actually become extremely resourceful. Your body will now say, okay, all of our glucose is now used up. We still need glucose. Where do we get this glucose from? Okay, the liver has glucose. We'll pull in the glucose from the liver. Now all the glucose in the liver is gone. It's been 12 hours since we had any food. What should we do? Should we tap out? Should we allow this guy to die? Should we go and pull the actual muscle, use the protein from the muscle? Nah, body's too intelligent for this. You've been around. Look, man, y'all been around for millions of years. You think the body's just gonna like now just destroy you? It don't work like that. Even though I know mainstream media would love for you to believe that. Mainstream media told you to do what? Eat 6 meals a day, right? Mainstream media got you counting your food, counting your calories, as if those things matter. Your body don't know nothing about no calories. Calories aren't even real when it comes to your body. Your body understands information. Your body understands nutrients. Yeah, your food is not fuel, and you are not a car. Your food is information. Everything you eat is informing your cells on whether or not it should actually increase or decrease information. It's informing your cells whether or not it should turn on or turn off genes. Should we increase or decrease the bacteria in your microbiome? There's no the calorie thing is played out. It's old. It's played out. It's old. Please leave it alone. You can try to eat 1,200 calories a day, thinking that you're going to lose 7 pounds by the end of the week. And I'll tell you what's going to happen. You'll get stuck. You'll slow down your metabolism, and you'll get stuck right there where you're at. And it seems like no matter what you eat, you can't lose weight. The body doesn't work like that. It's far too intelligent to allow you to just make a math equation and then eat your way out of the situation. No, what the body needs to do is do what it does best, which is become resourceful. So when you don't have food for 16 plus hours, the body has no other choice but to use the actual storage. Why do you think we have fat on us? You think it's just on us just to look good? You think it's just there just to be there? You don't think there's actually a function? No, it's a function. The purpose of fat is actually an organ. First of all, fat's an organ. Fat belongs inside of fat cells. Anytime fat, which is an organ, gets deposited inside of another organ, you're going to have a problem. You're going to have fatty liver, which is going to make you insulin resistant. You're going to have a fatty pancreas, which is going to decrease your insulin secretion. Or anywhere else in the muscle, it doesn't belong there. But when you give your body time to utilize all of the readily available fuel, it has no other choice but to pull on the fat fuel. And so your body's so intelligent, it's now going to convert that fat. It's going to call it de novo lipogenesis. It's going to create that, and it's going to now use that for fuel. While that's going on, and you're going 16 plus of fasting, 24 hours of fasting, what else starts to happen? Well, your body is improving itself. It's optimizing. It's cleaning up. It's doing a deep clean that it should be doing every day or every other day, but it never has the actual opportunity because we're constantly eating every 2 to 3 hours, 6 small meals, because those people told us to do it as if they have our best interest in hand. And that shit hasn't worked out for us. So when we're fasting, our cells will go through a process called autophagy. When you look at the word autophagy, let's break it down. Autophagy, that's essentially what it is. Auto means self, phagy means to eat. We're talking about a self-eating process. What happens is when your cells no longer are receiving nutrients, well, your body still has to operate. So what's going to happen is your cells are going to become very resourceful. It's going to see that it has certain machinery, certain parts in the actual cell that are not working at an optimal level. And so instead of going out and trying to create a new part or trying to create a new ribosome or trying to create a new aspect of that cell, it's now going to recycle that cell or recycle that part. It's like refurbishing it. So it's kind of like, instead of, if I have a brand new car, instead of constantly throwing away my rug because it's dirty, it's just like cleaning out the rug and putting the rug back in the car. Now, I mean, I could go out and buy a new rug every time it gets dirty, but that's nonsense, right? We got to expect that the actual rug is going to get dirty. If we have a dead battery, yeah, I can throw the whole car away, or I can just get a new battery, right? So that's autophagy, autophagy, autophagy. You can call it how you want to call it. So that's it. That's it. I mean, all of those were 5 principles, and they're all free, except for the whole foods. But when you incorporate fasting, how much whole foods are you actually buying? How much whole foods do you actually have need? If you're eating within an 8-hour window, or you're eating 1 meal a day, which, how are you going to get sick if you eat 1 meal a day? I don't know. If you get sick, you won't be sick for long. But we have to stop being afraid of going without food. And I'm gonna leave you with this note: anything you can't fast from, you are a slave to. All right. Anything that you cannot fast from, you are a slave to. Now, somebody is going to say, what about air? I agree. Air is the first thing that I did when I got here, and it's the last thing that I'm going to do when I leave. And I'm not trying to rebel against air. So that's one thing that I'm willing to be a slave to. I'm not trying to rebel against air. But food, yeah, I rebel against you all day, especially if you're not doing me any good. All right. So, yo, I appreciate y'all. We late. Ah, man, share this video, y'all. Share this video. Look, it's our community, it's our responsibility. I just laid out 5 things. All of them are practical. All of them are sustainable. All of them are extremely affordable. We can improve our community ourselves. Trust me, you don't want outsiders to come in to try to improve, because it's not going to work out. There's always going to be a hustle. There's always going to be an underhand. We have what we need. We have what it takes. It's our community. It's our responsibility. Spread the word. Anybody who's saying that they can't improve their health, but they want to improve their health, but they're not sure what to eat, the first thing you need to tell them to do is just stop eating. Drink water. Stay hydrated. Stop eating and do those other things on the list. Get out into the sunlight. You need the sunlight. Matter of fact, there's a large percentage of a chance that the reason why you're sick or you're dealing with these issues is because you're vitamin D deficient. Go check out vitamin D. I ain't lying. I haven't had not one patient that I've done blood work on that wasn't vitamin D deficient. Not one. I've never seen it. Never seen it. All right. So, yo, I appreciate y'all being with me. Please share the video, like the video, check out flynubianqueen.com, which is our network for melanated women such as yourself. Also subscribe to our new platform called Fly Nubian King TV. Text the word Queens to 31996. Text the word Queens to 31996. Make sure y'all like this video, share the video, subscribe to our channel. If you want to work on improving your money situation, or you want to actually build a business, check out flynubianmoney.com and flynubianqueen.com. All right. So I appreciate y'all. This is Edward Williams, founder of Health by Even Necessary. This is our community. It's our responsibility. We have what it takes. All right, y'all. I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.